Okay, and we rock and rolling. Hi there, my name is Jarek, I'm the Archon Studio CEO, and welcome to our AMA Ask Me Anything. So, good evening, everybody, good evening all. Right. Okay, as always, I have a few slides ready for you. If you want to ask any questions, here's the chat. Yeah, okay, so chat is working. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, definitely you can hear me now. Just checking all the systems as always. Hi, Steve. Hi, Steven. I'm gonna give you a few more minutes, or at least a few seconds, to if you have any questions, keep them coming. And as always, I have a few slides ready with some news and updates on the projects. Right, by the way, new heroes coming, so you have the video. You probably have seen the new video. Or if not, I've got it here in the presentation, so what's up? All good so far. We did a small issue. There was a few issues last week, PR issues, but I think we fixed them. I won't be going in any further into that one, but the aftermath is not the let's say it's still there. Anyway, yeah, new heroes, new video game, new heroes of Might and Magic, just been announced by today, literally a few minutes ago, by Ubisoft and one more studio. So it's quite advanced in development, and we knew for some time, obviously we couldn't say anything, but we knew for some time it's actually coming. So yeah, looking forward to play that game. New heroes by Ubisoft, that's correct, yes. Okay. I'll just finish watching. Yeah, trailer hasn't shown too much. I think if you just wait a few hours, there's gonna be more and more YouTubers talking about it, especially in the Polish fandom. Right then, so what we're gonna do today? What we're gonna be talking about today? Let me clear the comments. So definitely we're gonna start with the heroes. There's a few more updates on development. Basically everything has just been fully developed, so it's not much more thing left before the campaign starts. I think this is the first campaign we ever had that been so much advanced, and there shouldn't be no work in progress things to show you, except to maybe box sizes and stuff like that, which we will have to confirm later. Master of Orion, it's a new tech, and it's one of the case studies I want to show you. I think quite interesting for those of you who work in the industry or would like to at some point join the industry, because we needed to develop new tech only because yeah, the game we have developed was it is a little bit overload with plastic components, but we're gonna get there. Caves, we'll talk about the pre-painted stuff. I have a lot to show you on the pre-painted, especially the new ones and where we're going with it, and so on. There's a lots of things we have to do still with it, some tooling, fixing, and all of that. But we're gonna be there, that's for sure, for shipping. So nothing to be worried at the moment. There's no flags, no yellow, no red flags with that project. Then we have a port heaven, and then we have a port heaven, few things to show you, some concepts. We are already concepting this project. I have some arts to show you from Heroes of Might and Magic Battles. Yeah, and the ship is getting done. So let me have a look on the chart. Regarding Heroes reprint, and this is actually a good question. will there be a, that's all the changes from the last sprint update, hoping for some component and manual fixes before backing this time. That's a good call. I know there is gonna be small things which will be updated, some fixes. Definitely one of the things we added in is the supplement for the rules supplement. That's, I think, quite important to have it. And then small tiny fixes in the rules here and there. You know, the scope of that project was huge, it was massive in terms of rules, so some of the things always need some clarification, and that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, but that's a good idea for my team to actually do it before the campaign starts, just to say what's the difference between the original campaign and this campaign. Although it's not gonna be that much, by the way, so only some small tiny fixes. Can you confirm that the Invoker will not be using previous Deus Lair content? It made me really mad after hearing the statement from Alex. Yeah, the Invoker, because of its settings and the way how we want to move on with this one, it's basically going to be kind of dark fantasy, and it needs to be set around the arcane punk. So a lot of technology which is driven or moved or powered by magic, and we had no room in kind of the Deus Lair to add it in. So that's why we need to do it from scratch. And bear in mind, the Invoker itself, it's gonna be a skirmish game, so it's not gonna be any huge one, but a skirmish game. And the concept and idea for the game we have doesn't fit to Deus Lair itself, so it needs to be kind of separate thing. Yeah. Okay. So how close are we to being able to purchase Battleground on Amazon Canada? So we are just waiting for a printed components to arrive. The Amazon store just been launched 2 days ago officially, because we only do like prime store, which means we need to send the stock to Amazon warehouses, so it's not coming from our own place, it's coming from our warehouses. We haven't shipped any Battleground stock yet to Amazon because we wait for the printed component. This is one of the issues I have, and we have as a business, that we have to still rely, at least for on these components, on the third-party suppliers. But the roadmap for next year is to eliminate as much as possible delays from suppliers. I talked about that one last week. We have some small development in terms of machines and instead of the setups, and this is also discussion. I left it for Master of Orion just in a sec, which we're gonna get there. We'll explain you more. Is any chance for the factory faction, Heroes of Might and Magic 3? I would say maybe. We haven't talked about this one internally yet, but maybe. How did the War Machine talks with Steamforge go? I think Steamforge wants to do... I don't know. I mean, last email I got from them, it was just they still having some internal discussions about it. As I told you before, I think War Machine, for me, it's very close to my heart. Really like it. But at this stage, because we decided to go with the Invoker, we might say no, even if they come back to us with with approving the deal. The Invoker, you'll be very closely, well, it's not gonna be, but if we release the Invoker, there won't be no room for War Machine. Because the settings is kind of similar, let's say, not similar, far away from being similar, but yeah, we want to focus on our own things. Being like manufacturer for a company, this is kind of the business which never works here. So the business model, that's one of the reasons why the business model was capped to 25% of our capacity, no more. In the past, when we ran production like 100% for other companies, we got in a huge trouble with one of the companies, just running away with the stock and never paid for the stock. So many years ago, I think that was 2015, we almost went bankrupt because of them. So we decided that the business model ain't working and need to make a lot of changes. Having War Machine here, the only one deal, because I don't want to be rely on other companies, the only one deal I've seen it was like we would just make sales as well, just to make sure that we can push forward sales and yeah, and so on. And if the Steamforge only is looking for the manufacturers, then I would just say no. I would rather focus on our own thing and build our own thing here, and keep the capacity for our games. Yeah, I mean, I wish them good luck. I don't know whether they're gonna be able to deliver what they plan to deliver. I mean, I hope they will. So at the end of the day, I think this is the last call for War Machine, in my opinion. But I've seen some 3D printed models, and they're very bad, in my personal opinion, obviously. So they're extremely bad. I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't spend money for that crap, because it's just basically crap. So the 3D printed are not the best quality. You have still tons of supports on the models. No. But I've seen some plastic sprues they've made, which I think they look okayish. I mean, you can clearly tell the idea was to make the models in PVC, because the way the models are cut on these sprues, they cut for PVC manufacturing, not for the and definitely not for plastic injection. So it looks like somewhere down the line they decided to change it from PVC into plastic injection, but the left models are cut the way they cut them. So yeah, that's that. But I don't know. It's still not 100% no. Still waiting for them to see what they're going to say. But the big focus is on our stuff. Yeah. So yeah, this one, 17 weeks, you sent an email to our support, you haven't got no reply from us. I don't know what might happen. The only one way what might happen is something went into spam, but it's rarely happened. So either somebody from our team missed your email or something else happened. I don't know, 17 weeks, impossible. Just do me a favor, if you have a Facebook account or any other media account, just send a message to the Facebook. Shimon, who deals with customer service, is also away, but join us in, so there is no excuse on those things. Okay, so 17 weeks is definitely not. I mean, we have lots of people here on the comments. They might tell you that we are quite good in terms of doing things, but that doesn't make sense that you wait for 17 weeks for any type of reply. Did you follow up? Did you maybe follow up on emails? Something? Yeah, Alex just confirmed as well. Bartmomi asked the question, will you be able to pledge for a single new Home 3 expansion? I believe yes. So it means that you will be able to basically buy individual expansions. There should be as add-ons. At least we should have a list of add-ons where you will be able to pick a just expansion. What is your estimation on amount of backers this campaign? It is going to be even more than the Kickstarter one. It's very tricky question. We have a number of factors which could be good for backers, starting with a stretch pay on GameFound. So it means you don't have to spend it like $300 on one go. You can just, you know, spend $17 euro every month just to pay it off. I think we did like 7 payments. Yeah, so we don't know really, and it's actually good for our regions, especially, you know, it's our regions and around the Poland, to actually have a stretch pay in such campaign. The target is low. I mean, we are targeting around about 10,000 backers. We will see how it goes. The original campaign had like, after everything, like 26,000 backers, I believe. That's including like proper backers, which means the backers which went from $1 to back something. I mean, when I say proper, I mean basically backers who converse from $1 to the pledge. Because the campaign itself had like 20 something, but there was 8,000 backers which never pledged more than $1 on the original campaign, and then later it changed in the what's the name, the pledge manager, when the pledge manager was opened. So the target is quite low for this campaign. We will see how it goes. If we exceed the target, then great, because we can give you more stuff there. Mike said War Machine had somehow survive on the blink of the ages. Yeah, I was a big player back in the second ed. Then the third one came, Mark III. That was the moment when I moved back to Poland, and I couldn't find anyone actually playing War Machine. So, yeah, I really loved that system. And the War Machine, yes, you're right, always survived for some reason. But the times changing, if you know what I mean. So the wargaming actually growing, and it's much bigger than it used to be. You can see by the GW sales, and it almost doubled from the point when the War Machine was hot. So expectation for the War Machine would be like, you will find players now, and no, it's so tiny, so small. And the business model, it's all about the business model. I think Mark IV and 3D printing on demand was a huge mistake. It ain't working basically, and it will never work because of many reasons. If you want a war game, you need to work with stores, and in order to work with stores, you've got to have a product in stores. And 3D printed product is extremely expensive comparing to spruce. Like, Warjack is what, 150 grams of plastic itself, or resin itself. 180 grams. This is what, like $5 or $6 to make one Warjack. I mean, the starter box needs to be like, I don't know, $15, $16 to make. That's not the business. I mean, this is not a very good business model. And it's not scalable to the level when you're going to say, okay, this is actually now a good business to run. So the business model is wrong, basically. If you want to go for the mass scale, if you want to go for the mass scale, you've got to go back to proper manufacturing, and it's either going to be making stuff in metal or just mass production of any other sorts. But no, 3D printing will never work. And I think they're not. We did have a chat. I did have a chat with other company which makes a lot of 3D printing models, and they said the same. It's nonsense. Basically, it's a nonsense to run the business that way. If you print 1 or 2 models, or 3 or 10, or maybe 20 models for RPG systems, then fine. Then that's okay. But if it comes to the wargaming, and when people need like 150 models, oh, because the cost is not there. It's too expensive. You'd be surprised, but this is really too expensive comparing to making sprues. The cost of manufacturing of the sprue, I can tell you, it's around about 20 cents. Yeah, 20 cents. So 25 cents. This is like if you have a tool, if you have machines and operators, 25 cents per sprue. Yeah. Compare this one to like $5, $6, or $7 per, warjack manufacturing. It's not gonna happen. Especially that 3D printing is not that fast comparing to other things. It involves a lot of labor. You have to bring the machines, set up machines, and do all those things now. You can do it at home, fine, but not for the mass production. Okay. Market for player versus, yes, so Invoker will be that. Invoker, the way how Invoker will play, this is player versus player, players versus environment, and there's several things. I mean, I would like to keep it for now how the Invoker will play, but what we want to do with the Invoker is to give you several options of how to, really play quickly and faster games. So not big setups, escalation rules, which I never thought these escalation rules would be any good in the wargaming, and I changed my mind like 100%, 180%. So yeah, escalation rules are way to go. By the escalation rules, I mean if you play Magic the Gathering, this is escalation rules. When you start with 1 mana and then eventually it grows and you set up more and more and more, and you play at the same time, which just means that we would like to do it for the wargaming as well, or skirmish game. Yeah, so quickly set up the table, get your character on a table, let's play the game. We play the game, we bring more and more and more as we go. That at least kills the problem with downtime on setup. Yes, it's introduced that downtime into the game, but it's spread apart. So yeah, part entire game, obviously. All right then. Okay, lots of questions today. Really lots of questions. Could you consider designing all new big box to fit regular boxes for the expansion, so they could be placed inside case somehow? No. We're not gonna be adding any more boxes. The box for the big box is the largest box we can actually have at the moment. So the other big box will be just for all the expansions, and it's kind of mini big box, just to look good on the shelf. Yeah. Will there be a new gaming mats offering alongside any future Dungeons and Lasers projects? Yes, as long as we're going to make a external environment like we did with the encounters. Oh, question maintenance. I saw your video on the plant, but I didn't saw the dryer at all. No, we do have a dryers. I mean, that's our machine. So on top of every single machine, you have a dryer. So we did that we actually doing that way because it's much more cost effective than actually dry the material in a separate dryer. Material does not require always drying, but most of the cases, yeah, it's actually been on. So you only dry that section of material which is fed into the container. Yeah, so we do have a dryers, but on the machines. So each of them has got its own dryer. Different companies, right? You can tell. Although these machines are from one supplier, they give us different dryers. Okay, asking about the Heroes of Might and Magic. Let me just clear the question here. So I haven't actually answered fully your question because you asked for the AI and the third party. Yeah, what I'm a big fan of, just going back quickly to this question, what I'm a big fan of is style which Helldivers did it, or even Helldivers original. There's a video game called Helldivers, and it's a game when they absolutely great of the great design. So in that game, if you got like 15 minutes, you can start mission, which is just 15 minutes mission, and that's it. You just play that 15 minutes mission, you forget, you go and do other things you want. But then also you can play a mission which is 45 minutes long or even longer, and it's up to you what time you have on hand to actually play that video game. And I would like to have this one in the wargaming as well, and especially in the skirmish game. So we will have a different modes allowing you to play fast game and quick games, or even longer game if you have a time for that. And that's important. And the other aspect of the Helldivers is the live service. The live service is phenomenal, right? It's absolutely great. There's call to action, there's other things which I absolutely love it, and we like to have it in a game as well, at least as a part of the normal live service for our games. So the first game which I think we'll be doing any type of live service is definitely Heroes. The second one will be Starsight, and the third one will be Invoker. So there's a lot of things we want to do it, and a lot of things I believe they need to be in the games nowadays, especially in our hobby. And by the way, nobody introduced that yet. Even GW don't have like a proper live service for their products, for the games. By live service, I mean there is like our internal game master, which creates different type of events and call to actions players, right? So if you're going to download the app for our games, which, you know, in the future will launch, you will get like notification, by the way, there is a new event, join fight, send us results, and you know, this new event will shape the upcoming things. Okay, asking about Heroes of Might and Magic, but it is probably a general question. When designing a game with several difficulty levels for players to choose from, how do you... This is the word I hate it because I don't know how to pronounce. Determine targets for each level. In case of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 board game, how do you decide how hard should easy, normal, hard, impossible difficulty be exactly? It's a good question to the team that designed the games here internally. Most of the cases, I always keep asking my team to use math, especially for the balance, because when it comes for balancing the game, it works both ways. You need to balance the units for the game itself, and then when it comes to actually play, you will know what encounters the players will encounter, and then based on that one, we can put the difficulty level up and down. But it's really math is one thing, but then the other thing is play testing. Purely play testing, and to know whether the game is hard, normal, impossible difficulty, they have to play the game. And then, you know, once the internal team plays the game several times or many times, at that point we will know, okay, this is the difficulty you want to do. Just one thing about this, you have to, you know, most of you, or maybe most of the people on the chat knows from Heroes, then I would say it's a plastic, and then I would say plastic, and then I would say it's other board games. The board games for this company, it was a niche product. It was niche product, and probably always going to stay, because this company lives on manufacturing for us, for others, and on plastic components. We very large in that regards. In the past, the team for the board game was very small, very tiny, and we had like two designers, one designer who was the project manager, and then one designer. So some of the games were not enough play tested as they should be for the release. That's changed a lot because of I can tell you right now that any other expansion for Heroes, it's much better play tested than a Heroes itself, the original campaign. Because the team expanded. Not only team expanded, the team gained experience, which is the most important bit here. And they learn on the mistakes, and they do learn on the mistakes, and especially from Heroes, like, you know, the rulebook itself, there is no introduction mission, things like that. Okay, we do that now, but every single game in the future will have that one, and blah. So this will improve a lot, especially the designing for the games, for the games. I think with Heroes was the first time when we did like a blind testing. We did like external testing, where we had the people, especially project managers, going with the team on different trade shows, doing the surveys, so asking people to play a few rounds and then go back and collect the surveys from the people, analyze the surveys, and then make changes based on that one. So yeah, this will improve a lot, but it's mainly and basically and the whole the structure about how the game is easy, normal, hard, impossible, or difficulty is based on the playtesting. So you need to play test enough times. I always keep saying that to my team and give them that example of the Nemesis board game. So if you play test Nemesis when it was still like in a alpha testing, the game wasn't working at all. And later on, there was maybe 1,000 people who play test that game and provide the feedback. So at the end of the day, the game actually changed almost 50-60%. So it wasn't the game you played originally, you tested originally. It just moved, and only because the people provide that much. But you need to have facility to do that, right? I think Portal did that quite well with the Nemesis, because Portal was part of, it was partially owning Nemesis itself, on top of Awakened Dreams, especially the core game. So they did a lot of work, they did a lot of changes based on the playtesting. Yeah. I just talking too much about those things. I mean, we're already half an hour in. So the question about the heroes, we waited a couple of months for the delivery from the first campaign. How long would be delivered take after the end of the second campaign, when a large part of Heroes 3 is already finished? And will be some significant changes, for example, Manticore figures, better components. So Adam, first of all, just going from the second part of the question, we won't have like large changes whatsoever. Maybe some rules, updated rules, maybe some things on updated cards. We're not going to be changing Manticore figure. This is what it is. That's for sure. But going back to the first part about the shipping, I did that video last week, 2 weeks ago, when I explained the shipping. In general, we want to ship everything in January, February at latest, maybe March, depending on the shipping and how fast the manufacturer will be able to ship to us the thing which we call legacy shipping. So legacy shipping are the products from the first campaign. So everything you have seen it from the first campaign, plus the supplement for how to play the game or how to learn the game, should be shipped between those first quarter of 2025. Remaining things should be shipped around about 3 to 4 months after the first wave of shipping. So that's what it is. The biggest downtime here is shipping, because as you might know, the ship needs to still go around the Africa. And that is additional month of delays on a boat. Yeah, and the other risk which we have to calculate it is that the manufacturer won't be able to ship product to us before the Chinese New Year, which would be then disaster basically, because that will push everything for another 2 to 3 months. So instead of having a first wave in the first quarter, everything will be pushed to the second quarter. Yeah, so we're already working with them on a plan. We actually gave them now a list of miniatures that needs to be manufactured. That's the biggest downtime, in order to have everything ready for us in January for collection. Yeah, Alex already also replied here that the expansions of the Home 3 are still in the development. That's correct. So even after campaign, we still need to play test it, everything, right? So regardless of yeah. Okay. Any hopes for selling minis only for upcoming campaign? No, unfortunately, no. We don't have this facility. It's exactly the same story with other things, so no. Yeah. Okay. More questions. Will there be a factory from Horn of the Abyss expansion in the future? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. We haven't decided yet. This is a part of a little bit longer discussion because we did a small cuckoo, but that it's not for this AMA yet. In the new pledges, I saw there is a working in progress optional big boxes. There will be an art book. So work in progress, it says work in progress only because we don't know dimensions yet. So once we have full layout of miniatures and everything else inside the box, we'll know dimensions, and that will change from working in progress to the final box. Yeah. Regarding the art book and posters, well, please stay tuned for the campaign. We don't know yet what exactly going to be part of this campaign yet, so still working. We're still working on it, on the full list. I did show the list a few weeks back, which I just make a disclaimer that is only part of the thingy. In one of the previous live streams, I asked about the possibility of adding the combination of artifacts, and I got no answer. But I got an answer that the rules team doesn't know yet. Hey, if there is somebody from our team, role team, they can happy to answer this question. On the chat, in the chat. Is the Dwarven train coming as add-on? Yes. That will be part of add-on. It will be part of the pledge and will be part of the... Well, not pledge, part of the add-ons. Can we see the progress notes on it? Unfortunately, not yet. It's still VAP, hasn't been scoped. I know we are now on the miniatures sculpting, so that will be, I don't know, before the whole idea of the sculpting and where we should be by the November, we should have everything scoped. And ready to show you. So we're still gonna have to wait patiently for November. Home couple questions. Will we get more heroes per previous factions? Yes, there will be more heroes. Will all the new factions have campaigns? Yes, all the new factions will have campaigns. When shipping is planned for the future expansions. So that's what it is. After the first wave of shipping, so in the first quarter, I'm aiming at the second quarter shipping. Second quarter of 2025 shipping of the expansions. Yeah, also on that one, I know last week we sent all the miniatures files to manufacturer to start doing the tooling. The tooling and miniatures are the bottleneck, the huge one. Do you consider making Tarn? Yes, we do. Tarnum will be part of the natural, well, let's call him natural hero, and you'll be play with any faction. Do you plan on making, or did you make Griffin Conservatories? Yes and no. I won't be like Jakub said. I won't be saying yes. I won't be saying no. Just stay on track with campaign. Please. Will cards in upcoming expansion contain marked from which expansions they come from? Yes, they will. That's change number one comparing to the original campaign. Yeah, that's change number one. What is the current status of the wave 2? I still didn't receive email about the shipping or address confirmation. Check language, Grail plus Inferno. If you haven't got any address confirmation, not yet. That's strange because I believe we did like email address confirmation long time ago with everybody that needed to confirm the addresses, and it was like entire second wave. So in the first thing, check your emails, check whether the email you have used for GameFound is exactly the one you're checking for that one, and then have a look again on the spam folder for any email from us. If you don't have neither of them, just send us an email and my team will be able to help you out. Obviously give them like, give a team at least a week or so, okay, to answer. Any plans to add more solo support outside the campaign mode or even Battlefield expansion support? Yes, this will be part of the live service in the future. Do we have the final pre-painted caves previews yet? Some of them, yes. I will be talking about that, but just want to show you quickly. This is where we are now. That's the one on the right. This is what we showed you on the campaign, and this is where we're going. So much better quality. But we're gonna get there. Just in a sec. Just in a sec. Have you thought about a Prisma cast on the base pack? You do. We did, yes. Recently saw a video from the Gen Con, where one business were doing printed plastic bases, but they were flat, unlike your bases, which are more textured. Yeah, we thought about that one. I don't know whether we're gonna have a capacity for pre-painted bases. Maybe for some project, but not for all. Only because there is tons of. I mean, every single pledge is like, you know, 6, 7, or even 10 bases sprues, so that's quite a lot. That's a beautiful dream job, going to work to playtest stuff. Yeah. Brings so much serenity in my life. Yeah, we have like several. I mean, we've invited yesterday. We had a team of, and actually another team is coming from Warsaw tomorrow to our factory to our place just to playtest Master of Orion. But we had a team from Bydgoszcz yesterday, and the hardcore for X players, and they really like it. So yeah. Artbook 2.0, yeah, thinking about this, thinking constantly about that. Probably yes, probably gonna have to do it. There are 300 million Russian-speaking people in the world. In Russia, there are only 130. I have many Ukrainian friends that would like to play in Russian. This is kind of a little bit longer discussion about it, what's happened, and why we needed to move away from making Russian language. And because the contract was breached by the distributor, and there was no other way of controlling the flow of the games, and they would end up anyway in Russia, so we need to cancel that one like immediately, otherwise it will cause a lot of trouble and problems. The aftermath or fallout, basically, because for us canceling this one, and then obviously all that happened, it was just like a getting hit by the, you know, atomic bomb, and that's why I'm calling fallout, is, yeah, ongoing, let's say. So yeah, we won't be able to make Russian language itself till the situation globally change. Although our statement was kind of read the way that we are attacking Russian language, I would say no, there was no intention to attack any languages. You know, like everybody keeps saying, we keep attacking Russian government for what they do, but not the language. Then it's got nothing to do with it. Yeah, but let's move on. We're not gonna be talking politics here. AMA is not for the politics, which I just mentioned some political stuff. I don't know. Sorry for that. Okay. Anyway, let's have a look more questions. Okay, care to explain why original backers can't have the add-on option for the big box when many are asking for it? It's just the big box itself, empty big box. The thing is, we talk about this with manufacturer, and we really expensive. I don't know why we're gonna go for the big box alone, because we're gonna have to charge you for shipping, and the shipping will be almost the same as you would find them with normal game. And if we do that, you're gonna be upset with us, and yeah, we're gonna get accusations of trying to scam you because of, you know, why you have to charge, because the way how shipping is charged, they charge you for the weight up to XYZ weight, but then another factor is the size. So you have to measure it, length, and depth of the box, and based on that one they charge you. So even if you have to, if you want to ship it like 1 kilogram parcel, but the dimensionally this parcel is big one, they're still gonna charge you $20 or $30 for shipping. So if you want an empty box and you're ready to pay $60 for it, no. And if we do that, there's gonna be a lot of angry people saying why this is so expensive and blah 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 blah. And really, there's no way to explaining you to every single person why this box, empty box, will cost you $60. Because we have to make it in China, we have to ship it to us, and it's empty box. We're gonna have to pay still for the massive container, which at the moment is like $11,000-12,000 for the container from China to Europe, and then we're gonna have to ship it to you for $30. So no, yeah. So yeah, if we do that, it's gonna be much more the hit than we want to have. That we want to have it. Yeah. Anyhow, there was one more question. Sorry for that one. The one more question: would there be ducks in the dungeon? Of course, yes. Rise of the Duck Dragon. We got to do something with it. Duck pirates. I mean, you all know the story with ducks. Yeah, but I think we got to do something with it. Something funny. Hey, that's the one. I will just turn the voice and sound, and that's the one. We're not gonna be analyzing everything, but that's the new heroes. That's the new heroes. So it looks really good. I think it's a mix of many previous one, at least looking at the factions. We don't know yet, I haven't seen it this one, but some of the things I have not seen it yet. That's good. I don't know if you like it. Well, you know, there's lots of people who basically love Heroes 3 and that's it. Yeah, so it's made by the studios, Ubisoft and some other studio. Yeah. Well, you've seen it. You probably see it now on the YouTube anyway. So yeah, I wanted to show you, and just in case, let me just check the questions before we move on to other things. So that will be a small problem if we are not able to buy minis only. Maybe the minis from the Heroes Battles will fit. Unfortunately not, because the miniatures from the Heroes Battle will be scale up. This means the troops maybe yes, but when it goes to the bigger monsters, no. Dragons, should be size of dragon, at least to the level of what the competition is calling dragon. So yeah. Do you think of Heroes of Might and Magic random map generator, tile generator, excuse me, application? There's a few discussions about the applications, what could be done with it. I know we have like one application presented to us by some external, just some fan, by the way. So you made that. I don't know what's the status, because we said it's great but needs XYZ features. So I don't know whether whether they wanted to add those features to the app to become something more usable, just like normal music and something app. Yeah. Yeah, so we've done some additional development, especially on art side of it, some tokens, and as I mentioned, we got like 30,000 followers on the campaign, which is quite good. The target was 30,000 for my team. Keep saying 35,000 just to push a little bit more before the campaign starts. But yeah, this is what we it's a great, we have some following elements, we have some other bits and bobs. So we have in the last update, if you go on the campaign, you will know for the returning backers we have some gifts. We always have something for the returning backers this time around as well. We also have this introductory scenario now, really important, I think, because that was what is basically missing in the game. Our rulebook, you have to read it from beginning to end, toczka w toczkę, as they say. But anyway, you have to read it from the beginning till the end in order to actually play the game, which it's not the best for the new players. So we wanted to introduce this game to more beginners as well. So you can download it from our page. If you go down the bottom on archon-studio.com, download section, and then when you click on the Heroes of Might and Magic, and down the bottom you will find this introduction scenario. Would be great if you have a little bit of time and check that one for us as well. So read it through, tell us what you think, and maybe give us some feedback if you have a few minutes, because we're gonna have to translate it. We want to make sure that it's actually good, and there is no issues in there. Okay. So that would be great. And then obviously we have a small tiny let's call it competition. So we are, I think, 25 or 30% there. We just need to, or maybe even more, because I'm not quite sure whether it's just only to Facebook share and like the post. But if you go to Archon Studio and you have a Facebook page, obviously just like it and share it. We want to give you something extra free, and then when you back campaign, you're gonna get also these elements in the campaign. Whoa, Ubisoft actually cares enough about the Heroes Might and Magic to make a new one. I have to tell you, you'll be very, very surprised how much Ubisoft cares about the Heroes of Might and Magic. Really, really. And that's one of the reasons why there's so much things happening around the Heroes of Might and Magic. I mean, you think about it, there's a board game, there is RPG game, there is miniatures game, there is another game we're gonna be releasing next year. So there's a lot of things in development and lots of things happening for Heroes of Might and Magic. I think this is something, this IP is, it requires that, yeah, it requires a little bit like, you know, refreshing, but basically, yes, definitely, Ubisoft really cares about that one. You have to bear in mind there's a full team dedicated just for the Heroes of Might and Magic within the Ubisoft. So yeah, they really care about. Maybe we have a fish, man. That's the fish. You probably won't be able to unseen this one, but look, that's the eye, that's the back end of the fish, that's the front. But not meant to be fish. I mean, somebody just said, oh, look, it looks like a fish. Yeah, okay, fine, now it's fish. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading comments. I'm just saying you are having some discussions about other things. Okay. Heroes, Master of Orion. That's the good case study to show you. And this is what this is how, when you run the business, you know that you have to come up with some ideas to fix things which you made initially, and then it caused all the issues. So we received a couple of weeks ago, we received a initial manufacturing quotations from China, because we wanted to make this game in China first, just know how much they cost. And the plastic and the paper content is 35 USD. This is to manufacture a board game. Now you have to bear in mind this is very, 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 very expensive board game to manufacture. 35 USD just for the core game itself, it's really no go. The golden rule, or rule of thumb, is basically MSRP needs to be manufacturing cost times 5. So in order to make game, we will have to sell it for $175. No, it's not gonna happen. That will be too expensive game to make, and then too expensive game in stores. Okay, it's a 4X game, it's a huge content, there's a lots of things in that game. But it still would be too expensive to get there. So we need to find a solution, and we found the solution to actually fix that one to $35 per game manufactured. Now, why needs to be times 5? Because when it comes to selling the games, you have to take in consideration taxes. You have to think about the distributor discount. So most of the cases is like 50 to 60%, maybe even more than 65% of a discount. So that times 5 is only bare minimum actually to make some profit of the games you're going to be making and selling. Right, so what options we have? We divided everything between the paper content. So the paper content for the game was $13, and this is D2D, so door to door. This means if the China manufacturer just make paper content, it's about $9, and then you have to add at least $4 for shipping from China to Poland. Or the other aspect of the game was the miniatures. So the biggest cost was miniatures. It's $22 for miniatures. When I say miniatures, I mean round about 170 different plastic components plus 80 bases. And I think here it's much more. I think it's going to be 250 different plastic components. When I say by plastic components, I mean miniatures, I mean buildings, I mean tons of different plastic components. So this game is heavy loaded with the plastic components. And that's the reason, hence the reason of the cost of being 22 just for the miniatures itself. And this is not including tooling. So very, very, very large, very, very expensive game. So what we did thus far, we did two things. One, we just look at just to source this one in China. And the downside of sourcing in China is 3 months on the boat. I say 3 months because usually it's 2 months on the boat, and then you have like 1 week in the customs and another week just to get it to us. And the bigger problem for me always will be reordering stock, which is another 3 months, and still you have to wait for the stock to arrive to your place. The other thing is we checked what we can do in Poland. So there is a manufacturer which gives us quotes for $17 just for the paper content. And this is also door to door. So it's additional dollars for the manufacturing. So at $17 we can get all the paper content. But it is more expensive, but the thing is we can get it within 30 days. So we don't have to wait as 3 months on a boat itself. But the miniatures are still the problem. Well, still a problem. The miniatures, the idea was we need to do everything in our power or to make them in-house. That requires a new technology because we're not going to be shipping you like spruce per spruce. And the cost of manufacturing needs to go down to $4. So we need to find a way of cutting from $22 to $4, right? And then if you combine them both, the price will be $21 for manufacturing. $21 is still kind of within the $100 game cost. Yeah, we're still gonna have to find some clever ways of actually reducing that cost with carefully placing things, maybe scaling down some elements for the board game, but still we should be around about $20 for the manufacturing cost. But only one thing is we've got to be there. And to be there, we come up with some idea. I task my team, I told them what I want, and my team delivers. So we call this one at the moment Sprue Punch tokens. And let me show you how this works. And I will tell you why this is a great idea. Okay. So first of all, I did mention about the costs. I did mention about the cost of everything, and yeah, so every single faction will have its own miniatures and models. That's some examples, but also you get the bases and you get these pole stands, so clear plastic stands, and then on top of that you get those miniatures. So we've got to make them in-house, and we actually did them in-house. This is the manufacturing in-house. We do have for all factions. I don't want to spoil you, show you everything. Bases are made in-house, along with this one, with the post. So the only one way we can get it, that one, is if the models are going to be very easy to remove from this. This is still sprue, but the way we did like injection ports here and there is to allow you to actually remove this one very gently. You just spin it around, and that's it. Pause. So leaves a little bit mark here, tiny, which can be removed if you want. Scrape it off with your fingernail. other side as well. You got a token. It's your plastic token, and it goes for every single element on that one. So yeah, we can remove that one that way, and we have a playable thing. Same around that. You just twist it, right? Same goes for the ships. So that's example. I just removed some ships you have seen there, but same goes for the ship. You don't have to use any force. You just twist it, and here you go, your token. So effectively, you just remove them the way you would punch board elements from the paper content. Same for the ships here. They just keep falling off. Okay. Easy, easy peasy. Same goes for that. This is example of same goes for the bases, but yeah, that is just easy as that to remove. You have to do nothing basically with it, like no force. Your kit can't do that. So that's the new tech we come up with. Why this is great? This is great because we can do now board games with plastic tokens, like this type of plastic tokens, like ships, like you know, like everything else we want to do it, right? So this allows us to create a board games with a plastic components, high detail plastic components, by the way, because the ships are much better than you would make them in PVC, that's for sure. But in-house, internally, and you will find the ships like that one in a board game, being really high quality and robust, no de-shaping whatsoever. But we needed technology, and the team actually got it. So still need to name it somehow. Probably gonna name it like a, as I said on the screen, like a sprue punch tokens. But yeah, there they are. And same for that. You just twist it twice or 3 times, and you have a token here. Yeah, simple, easy, and very, 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 very effective. Or spin punch, yeah. So with that solution, we're gonna be here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to make that game. I mean, there was some other ideas we decided to do. The idea was like, okay, let's not make plastic miniatures in a game. Let's make maybe paper. Let's make standees. Let's make I don't know. There was a tons of different ideas, and no, all of those ideas were not good. Eventually, we didn't want to make a cheap version, because make it this game just in paper component would be the cheap version, and then you would have to pay separately for the models. But no, we want to give you something like that. We want to give you a models miniatures on the standees, and they need to look much better. They need to be much better than the I mean the game itself, like the competition. So anyway, we need a name. So if you have some ideas, drop them in the comments. We will definitely introduce this one to other games, other of our games in the future, board games. And I'm quite happy, because then what we could do in the future is to focus on this, and in the future, Souls instead of Poland EU, just make in-house, and then have paper content manufactured in-house, and every single model miniature whatsoever in-house as well with this tech. Yeah. Cool. So that's that. I hope you like it, because I'm very happy with it. My team said, no, it's impossible. Look, it is possible. Yeah. So caves. For the caves, we've been working on this. So stack terrain. And the guys actually finished. So we have that one. The tool is designed. It's going to be cut after people come back from holidays. So because now machine's going to be on stop for a couple of weeks, and we won't have no tooling for 2 weeks. So next week I won't be able to show you no miniatures whatsoever on the next AMA. But yeah, in general, this is how it works. So we created additional walls, which they fully stackable, and then you have your normal floors, and then full wall as well. You can see it here, and that's what is there. Now pre-painted. Pre-painted. Let's talk quickly about the pre-painted. Let me shift that one away for now. Right. This one because it's also distraction. I need to tidy up my desk tomorrow. Friday is the best day to tidy up. Okay, so that was what you have seen it. This is what we show you on the during campaign, right? So we said we're gonna be doing it like this. It looks like kind of like you would have a terrain with dry brushing effect on it. So this is where we are now. So comparing 1-to-1, like this. As you can see, it's got much more deep details. It looks much better, especially on the walls. There is still some limitations and some things we have to fix it for some of the tools. Not for this one. This one looks okay. That one looks even better. Well, looks the same, but in terms of quality. What we decided to do is to give you that. It's a huge improvement to the previous terrain, especially in terms of the quality of painting it. Yeah. Probably something you wouldn't be able to achieve easily with paintbrush. But that's the goal for this deck. That's the goal for the for Prismacast, to give you something you're not only gonna get in good quality, but also something which is, you know, not really achievable. Now, the core set as well, we have done the core set. So the core set is much more, let's say, organic, or not organic, much more generic. We didn't want to go full crazy with it. You will find on the core set some tiny elements which are slightly different to the other sprues. But this is what it is. And it's very close to the original one. This means very close to the painted one by hand by the artist. And what we have shown you already. So that's that. In terms of terrain itself and how everything looks, you have to wait for the update on a game found. We plan to do that update next week with the launch of the help me out with the launch of the pledge manager. So that's that. There is still a lot of work left on that. As I mentioned at the beginning, there is no flags yet, although some tools needs to be changed, and we will do that. We will do that just to improve the quality of painting. And yeah. So before the shipping is next year, But what you're gonna see definitely improvement, definitely updates on the on a pre-painted. So they will come step by step. We needed to in the first place we needed to make sure that we have all the stock manufactured for the legacy shipping, and we have that one. So that was the last one to show you, because the rest of the things you already have seen it. So yeah. Let me check quickly the comments. Now, Prismacast on those. I was thinking about the Prismacasting models for Master of Orion, but to be honest, we won't have no capacity, absolutely no capacity to do that. I'm a little bit worried that we're not going to be able to, if we are going to add anything like additional stuff, that we won't be able to do it everything on time, and that's not the goal. We never miss ship except the beginnings of the Dungeons and Lasers, and Dungeons and Lasers needs to be shipped on time. That's it. We told you, I think March or something like that. I want to ship it in January. So yeah, and if we add any more, then it means it's gonna be delayed. Might delay it. Although I will see what we can do with pre-painted, because these sprues are quite good for actually that process. This is why I love Archon, always problem solving. Yep, that's the thing we always have to do. TTs. No, that's not the best call, TT. Twist and play much better, thank you, Dave. Yeah, better, yeah. Is stack throwing using the same technique as the Woodhaven roofs for stacking? Yes, they use the same thing. It's got potential for the shouldn't be any problem. Because you have to bear in mind how the machines works is the machine actually remove things. Well, the sprues actually falling out of the machine, and that's the biggest impact for the sprue to actually lose the connectors or lose elements. And these sprues actually come in very well from the machine, so there is no risk of them even during the transport to fall. You still have to kind of twist them to remove them from the sprue. Great AMA today, so much happening during summer. The holidays didn't wonders for the team. Yes, the holidays did wonders for the team, that's correct. Although we still have a lot of people on holidays. They're coming back next week. Most of the team is coming back next week. Thing is, I'm always worried when the CNC machines don't stop. It's kind of they have to run. It's like the spice must flow kind of thingy vibe on whenever the machines are running. When there is more info about the Bethesda collab, we're just waiting to get approved on the graphics, and as soon as we have it, we will share it with you. It's gonna go all over the media post and everywhere else, and on our channels and blah blah blah. So just waiting for her. But I was hoping to get at least one graphic approved this week, but didn't happen. So we have to wait for them to give us a green light. Can you mix match the caves and Woodhaven vertically stacked? With this set, with that, yes. If this is what you're asking for. This is like a transition element which allows you to put anything on top, like normal system. So the floor here, you see floor here, and the trim, they are from normal system. It's a normal system. If you use anything else here, that it's still gonna work. Only what you have that one which is styled to the caves. I don't know. I will ask my team tomorrow. We could pre-paint it, but then we need to decide which team is gonna be using, probably the core set. But we'll see how it goes with that. Again, I don't want to take too much on our shoulders in terms of pre-painted, because already we have like 2 or 3 tools to be fixed. Because the pre-painted it's not to the standard and quality we have internally. So that's that's what we need to do. Okay, if it says, then yes. If it says, then yes. We do. We rest in the winter. We do. My wife and I, we always have like a couple of days off in winter. Because this summer was extremely busy with factory move, other things, projects, and now we're just getting ready for another trade shows and so on. I was thinking applying the new tech for DNLs. Definitely yes. Definitely to some things, some elements. Yeah, it requires a lot of more work on the tooling, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work on the first time through. So it means that whenever we test the tool, we need to take the tool back and fix and fix and fix. So the cost is much bigger for the tool before we actually start production, only because we have so many reworks on the tool for this protest work. But once we master it, once we get better understanding how to do it in a cut before we put the tooling on the machine, then yes. Ah, okay. Okay, so that's what you asked for. We did that for you. Yes, those things are brand new. This is something new you haven't seen in the campaign. This is what, when we did a survey, we asked you what you want to see, and that was the biggest one. Yeah. Port Heaven. So we start designing some models miniatures for next year. Oh yeah, Adessen we're gonna have a lot. Adessen, there's a few more announcements. So I'm hoping I will have all the IP announcements, which including the big ones, Adessen, and on top of that, a lot of samples. You know, we will also have like new launches or new stuff, pre-painted stuff for you to grab. Essen is gonna be huge for us this year. It will be big. We located and placed. I think we've never been placed the way we are placed now. I mean, the best spot ever. So we kind of between Games Workshop, which is doing they're going to do Golden Demon event, and Asmodee. So yeah, there's always traffic on both booths, and we just between them, which is great. And also hall number 1 at the main corridor, so at the main entrance. Absolutely great. The best spot ever. We couldn't ask for any better. Yeah, Jakub just answered your question about the pre-painted for the stack terrain. I don't know if you're gonna do the pre-painted stack terrain. It's so much things we have to focus on in terms of pre-painted. Yeah. And I'm not going to be taking any risk of delaying this one shipping or other. Who is coming to Essen, guys? I mean, there's a chat. There's a question to chat, I think, from Dave. From us, it's about 12 people. It's going to be 12 people there, so a quite good team. And if you want to say hello or have a beverage with me, join us. I might be busy as well because last year I was hoping to have like at least 50% of free time to go and see what competition is doing. That's what I always do, just to see what's out there, what's new. But he ended up with having meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, and I was like, at the end of the day, I was so tired that yeah, this time around I'm trying to at least have the calendar. Make sure I'm gonna stick with my calendar. Whenever it's a free time to rest, it is a free time to rest or eat. Completely forgot to eat last time. What competition? Yeah. Not in a Terrence spectrum, but miniatures competition, yes. Wargaming competition, yes. Board game competition, yes. Lots of things we are behind competition, especially board games. Yeah. But in terms of miniatures, I think this just GW, and then it's OS. Yeah. Secret is in design. We have a very good design, and yes, we've been always saving money on design. Now we're investing a lot into design. We have a great concept for the miniatures, like this one. Yeah, with all of that. Obviously, this is the big one in terms of Port Heaven. Show me the goods. I don't think at Essen, because we probably would, like last time, run out of goods, you know, on the first day. So no, not this time. Although maybe we're gonna prepare something. I don't know, but it's a good call. It's a good call. Drink the boss. You mentioned something about the lighting of terrain last AMA. Yes. So you see this ship. We can make it in a clear plastic, and somebody nicked my clear plastic. Somebody did. Wow, wow, wow. So we had a sample of translucent clear plastic, and the way it works, if we add a small UV light source inside in the ship itself, the ship will glow. So the idea is we can make this ship in two versions, at least one, which is that version there, and the second version, which would be like kind of the ghost ship. We would add some additional elements to look more ghostly per se, but yeah, that would be the kind of idea. But yeah, that's the big thing for the really big thing, because that's the 28mm there model. So that ship will be massive, and it's something which I'm really looking forward, because that's a new thing. We haven't done such a big model yet in this company, so it will be a new challenge, especially to my team, to stay on target in terms of tooling, and yeah, it's a new thing. Battles. So for the battles, I want to show you this. That's the first three concepts for the miniatures. There is a more and more and more. I did show you some things. I'm showing this one only because if you go to Polygon, there's a full article with Andy and Jervis when they talk a lot about it, about the game itself, and it's a good title to Warhammer Legends. Andy Chambers and Jason Jervis are working together again. That's true, and they're really enjoying this. So I played the game, and I was honestly very, very surprised how good it is. I was. So yeah, Jervis did amazing work on it. Really very nice work on it on a game. So obviously it needs to go through the playtesting. We plan to start doing sculpting models. I think that's gonna be at the end of the year, something like that. But the rules wise, it's very advanced. It's almost done, almost finished. So now what we need to do is just playtest it and, you know, fix all the balancing things and blah blah blah. But yeah, very good game, very good game. And you all going to be surprised how modern it is. So yeah, because I remember some people saying, yeah, you know, Andy Chambers and Jervis Johnson, the old school wargamers. So would we expect like a, you know, old school look at the table, whatever game? No. You'll be very surprised. It's absolutely other way around. It's extremely modern game. So probably nothing you have seen so far in terms of a rank and file games. I really like it. I really like it. So yeah, that's that. Okay. It's been an hour and 24 minutes. If you don't have any other questions, I will just stay a few minutes just to see for questions, because I see the chat is again doing funky stuff, like it's delayed, and then all of a sudden I got like 6 or 7 comments. How about upgrading units? You mentioned a few streams ago. It is actual. At the moment, it's all gonna be depending on the sculpting, how far we're gonna go with the sculpting, because in order to upgrade your units in the in tabletop game, you have to have a separate unit or different unit. So this is still debatable by us. How we're gonna do? It's either by, you know, change weapon, or add some things, additional things to the miniature in order to be upgraded. So it's still the thing is still open, because it is miniatures game. So yeah. Are DNL coated with any kind of varnish? I think if you go to Mike's, if you go to Mike's Moan channel, he did like total destruction of DNL tiles. You can see how much they can resist. You won't have any problem with this using for God knows how many times. It is very, very, very solid paint. Does not require any varnish. It's not like you will find with normal paint. It's really UV bonded to plastic paint. So you have to basically scrape it off. Really scrape it off. Yeah. Yeah, you have answer here. So we've been having this one, the product, like a product per se, for at least 2 or 3 sets. Well, 2 sets at the moment, and more sets coming in the future in retail, and thus far we had no issues. We did have some issues. Some person sent us over that one of the elements was like scraped off when he received, and he was thinking that maybe the problem was with transport. It wasn't. It was a problem on production because the machine was going too low and wasn't actually covering a tiny small element. It was like a, I don't know, 2 square inches, 2 square millimeters, so very, very tiny, you know, like a dot. And yeah, but we find it was actually manufacturing, not nothing to do with transport whatsoever. Yeah. Will there be, for example, 20 miniatures of soldiers at the battle and 20 archers, hero monsters? Yes. A bit slightly more than that, but yes. And you'll be able to bring more to the table once you play the game, during the playing the game. So you start with a XYZ points on the table. You spend some points for your character. I think there is one of the questions of AMA which I missed was whether the heroes will be playable. Yes, the heroes will be playable. You can have more than 1 hero, by the way. You start with the hero, you buy some spells, you've got to buy, you may buy some additional equipment. If you don't buy neither of them, you can buy more troops. And then during normal game, you're still getting additional, potentially, you can get more points to get more army on the battlefield. So it is really careful balance between how much army do you want on the battlefield and how strong your heroes, you want have your heroes to be. So that's what I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's not about cancelling your army like per se, I will destroy your armies end of the game. No, it's not. There's a way of coming back to the game, which is great because you still engage through entire game. So for those of you who play Wargaming, you know very well first or second round of Warhammer Fantasy, back there Warhammer Fantasy, when the good charge happened and all of a sudden 50% of your army is gone. Here it's not an option. There's no option for that to happen. So even if you're going to lose XYZ, you still have a chance to get back to the game easily. So how the Heroes of Might and Magic Battles faction be sold? Are the individual creatures sold in the boxes, or can we buy a whole faction in a big box? Starting with 2-player set. So that is what it is. You're gonna get like 2-player starter set, and then you're gonna get a faction sets. And also on top of that, you're gonna get individual boxes. So the business model is exactly as you would find with Games Workshop, Age of Sigmar. Is there going to be another Dungeons Lasers miniatures only projects like those there after the Port Heaven? Because I understand the Port Heaven is going to be also standard projects like Caves. Okay, so that's the good question. Thank you for that. the port heaven is a mix of both. That's correct. But the way we structure the campaign and the way you will be able to select from the campaign, you can only select. You can also choose just miniatures. Right? There will be enough miniatures for that, or you can go for additional bits and bobs, which are pieces of terrain. So the port heaven will have a good amount of miniatures to select from. That's also including the ship, and you can exchange the ship because the ship will be part of the pledge. If you don't want a ship, you can exchange for the miniatures. So that will be also other thing. Yeah. It looks like the proposed boat is about 3 times the size of the airship. Is that reasonably good quest as a scope size of the ship you're planning for? Yeah, I think it's run about that size. But I mentioned this is like 32 millimeter model. So if you place it sideways, or here you can see more, I think it's going to be more, maybe 4 times. More like a 4 times, yeah. So it's going to be a large ship. It needs to be large. It needs to be scaled to correct dimensions. Obviously, the idea is that the top will be removable. You can always place your models inside the ship and play the session there, and then place it on top of that one. And it will be fully modular, basically. That's the idea for that ship. Yeah, that's correct. It's gonna be 80-20. That's the campaign 80-20. You're right about, I think individual unit boxes are a terrible product, and I would avoid them. Yes, but people won't need them. The game needs them. So if somebody wants to focus just imagine if you wanna make an army just all the skeletors. And the question may be, I want just skeletors. I don't want anything else in my army, but we will have to force you to buy like a full faction boxes in order to get like 2 units of skeletors when you just want a skeletors. So overselling is not the best here. Will a new campaign have some upgrade packs for the backers for the previous campaigns? Do you mean heroes? For the heroes, we won't have no upgrade packs. You'll be able to get a new expansions, and only one thing which we're gonna be adding in is a player's aid, which is something which helps people to learn the game. While the newer machine is not great, I think I don't know, collections for the retail are very smart. I'm not getting that. Sorry. Could you please rephrase it? So how the top will be removable? Yeah, that ship, once you assemble, you have that section which is glued, and that section which is glued, and then that section sits on top of that section. Simple. So you just place on top of it. If you want to go full assemble ship, yeah, fine. You can always glue it, like go together. Otherwise, that section with the floor, you remove it, and then you have only the bottom section. Hey, and Jakub Sparrow model in the port heaven. Yeah, it kind of looks like a black pearl, right? Kind of. It might have much more. So in terms of the battles, Heroes of Might and Magic, we are, because of nature of tabletop wargaming, we're gonna have to release as many as possible, and won't be surprised if you're going to see a new stuff, absolutely new stuff, which you haven't seen yet in the Heroes canon. So yeah, we might see more stuff. And yeah. Are they going to be cells for the ship? The team come up with the idea, maybe we should make them like not plastic, but make them like from a material. So that's something to get from some supplier. So they plastic ones, we think we can do it like a small one here, which are folded, but as a additional element to attach to the poles, which then means that you can basically not attach that one and use the material one on there. So yes, I would say yes, but that's still we investigating. Well, Heroes Might Magic Game Found release have stretch goals as the first campaign Kickstarter. Yes, we have a full list of prepared, yes, for the campaign. So definitely they will have quite a lot of stretch goals. So how you recommend them? How we recommend them to cut them from the spruce? Because personally, when I cut them, I have the person. Okay. On this question, there's if first of all you need to have like very good players. So I would recommend very good players for plastic, not anything which is cheap. Yeah, it's quite a lot of cutting. That's true, because we give you quite a lot of product. So I don't know how to recommend how to cut them, but the good players and sharp players will definitely help you. Okay, no worries. Yeah, keep the ideas coming. The team is here. Maybe they will pick some good ideas and use them. Upgrade pack. No, we're not gonna be doing, because at the moment there is no reason. We haven't seen any sign of that something needs to be rebalanced. We have some cards which gonna be kind of updated, but not per se per stats. Only some naming on the cards. One of them is a Basilisks. So the Polish version of Basilisk should read, or should say Basilishek, but it says Basilisk at the moment. Which means that that's gonna be fixed, and that's about it. We're not gonna be doing anything else. So there is no required for the, like, you know, massive amount of things to be fixed there. I haven't seen it. The team is actually monitoring the balancing, but I haven't seen nothing yet there. Yeah. The thing is, it would be like, you know, if we're gonna go full steam ahead with sales, just imagine this is a lot of tooling space. It's no point, really no point of doing that there. If you can do either material or just basically a folded ones, which is the optional. The team is growing, so would be great if you did recommended tools and tips video for miniatures. Our internal team is growing, and we start getting more people in the business. So at some point we will make those videos. At some point, definitely yes, maybe next year or something. But at the moment, the employing just one person just to do those videos, it's not really cost effective. So, but once we have more people, and then the people who knows the hobby will have more time on hand, and we will start making these videos. Definitely no pre-painted miniatures. They're gonna be on the spruce. You're gonna have to assemble and then paint them. Yes, it's a full tabletop hobby. Yeah, brand new terrain. I'm curious what terrain will be used for the part of the It's it's a brand new terrain. We have quite a lot of terrain in our portfolio, tabletop, but it's gonna be brand new terrain designed. So exactly what part I cannot even tell you right now, because we haven't even designed that one yet. But yeah, the main box will need to have terrain, and also playable mat. You will also have playable mat, although you still have to use the rule, but there is a playable mat there. Late to the party, but not too late. That's correct, yes. But I'm gonna have to finish just in a few minutes. I will have to finish. So the campaign is planned for the first quarter of next year. Obviously, during or after shipping of caves. Yes, it will be. So the question is important question. Heroes of Might and Magic battles will be a 32. Yes, it will be 32mm scale. Pre-painted laser terrain will be absolutely eaten up by the Kill Team, Space Hulk, Necromunda communities. We planned something in fantasy, sci-fi terrain to release. So not during the campaign, because we have so much things to do. It's crazy. Okay, so we can expect the terrain range for tabletop somewhere along the road, which is great news. Yes, that's correct. I mean, there's no wargaming with tabletop terrain. I mean, if you look at Song of Ice and Fire, they do like 2D terrain, like you put like plastic, not plastic, paper, something on. That's not good. That's not wargaming. Wargaming, the experience of wargaming needs to be. You have to feel the battle. It's quite difficult to feel the battle if the battle is 2D, flat. Right, so like flat, there's no obstacles, there's no 3D, there's no dimensional depth on the battle except the miniatures. So terrain is there, it's needed. Thank you for a brilliant AMA, Jarek, always on top of everything. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching these AMAs. Okay, I'm gonna be finishing. I see myself using folded sails for the battles and switching them up for full sails when it sits around in my closet. Yeah, just for the aesthetics. Yeah. See, I talked with Jervis last year. I met him at Pyrcon. I went to Pyrcon just to have a chat with him, and we spent like 2 hours discussing many things. And I was extremely surprised. He was showing me his notebook, and he's always thinking about the new games and new solutions and things like that. And he was just like, look, I was on the plane and I sketched that one, and this is the dice system and so on. I think personally there is a tons of great talent in Games Workshop, which been totally capped by the way how Games Workshop is running by the accounting teams. Yeah. So what I mean by that, imagine that let's say the great talent, which is the RGW in terms of rules, will come up with some great idea, but it will eliminate D6 and it will introduce other dice. I don't think accounting will say yes to that. I don't think. Accounting will say no. Straight away no, because we have this X amount of D6 in a warehouse, you have to make the game with D6. So letting them, giving them just free design the game with no boundaries, with no you know, total guidelines whatsoever, just, you know, with the main things like, okay, we would like to have this because it's a canon, or we would like to have that because it's canon, or we like to have a heroes when, you know, artifacts and upgrades and spells because it's canon. That's great. So we give them guidance what exactly in the game needs to be there. But everything else, there is no limit. And they really come up with a great game, in my opinion. And it's gonna be something, I can feel it. I can feel it is gonna be really good. So having the great talent from GW with, you know, unleashed, let's call them unleashed with their creativity, it's great. It's great. And I know they had lots of great ideas in GW, but they all been just basically loaded in the fridge, and they stay in the fridge forever probably, just because the accounting says no, because it just too much involves too much change, big changes in the business to do so. So, and it follows the main principle, right? The GW principle is number 1 is the miniatures and models, number 2 is fluff, and number 3 is the rules. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna be finishing because it's like almost 10. I got work to do tomorrow, probably yourself as well, so sorry for taking that much time. I was hoping to finish within 1 hour. I only had like 8 pages. Normally I have like 20 pages on the presentation, but there was loads of things to talk about. Thank you for your questions again. Thank you for, you know, as always, joining me and watching these streams. I hope we improved in terms of communication. If there is anything you would like to see on AMAs, let me know in the comments, and we'll definitely introduce maybe more people, definitely more people. I would like to have somebody helping me out, at least in the comments, because sometimes I get lost and confused, and sometimes I talk too much about some topics which I shouldn't. Or I should just, you know, move to other topics. So yeah. Anyway, thanks again. Thank you for joining me, and see you in just in 2 weeks time. Yeah, in 2 weeks time, just before trade shows. See you. Bye bye.